honoured welcome to Free Practice 1 here in Catalonia for MotoGP. It's just me in the box for this session. Joshua Birch is off doing other things, and I'm actually in a newly designed commentary box, so that will be interesting. I mean, you'll be seeing me up a lot because the position of where I am in the commentary box has changed quite a lot. Oh, and there's Joshua Birch making one singular appearance in here. Yeah, it's dramatically changed the coordination of everything, but it does mean I have a nice little light here. So, nice lighting. I think I shall pass over briefly, though, to TNT, however, so that they can bring you through the first little bit of the session, and I shall be popping through throughout.
For something, he got beaten by Aleix Espargaro, who came in, probably nothing against Pole, but you know, not riding full time, perhaps a career low point after Hungary. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it seemed, what the shock was after the race where we finished 9th, and just like you said, Susie, he got beat by standing rider Aleix Espargaro.
Who was brilliant, by the way, absolutely incredible. Who
overperformed, didn't he? Absolutely. But to finish 9th on the factory Ducati bike when your teammates won again, and sit and talk to the journalists and press and say, no, honestly, it was really positive. It was a great result. We've changed the bike. I really like the changes we've made. I now understand the issues that I had. Seems very, very strange because in our sport, there's only one thing that matters. The currency is the result. The proof is the result. And the result wasn't there. It was a very average race for Pekco to finish 9th. So obviously we'll find out more this weekend, or maybe we won't, because he's already said to the press, I'm not too sure if it'll translate to this track, because this is a low grip track. So essentially what we're seeing is, unfortunately, a rider who's lost a bit of confidence. You don't need to lose a lot actually at this level for it to look like you've lost a lot. So yeah, he's lost a little bit of feeling with the bike, a little bit of, let's say, confidence with himself, and it's been painful to watch, hasn't it?
And we spoke to Uccio, didn't we, in Hungary. He said, I've been to see, and I've said, Forza Pekco, you know, he said he's not braking correctly, and this is that confidence drop that Neil was just talking about. But what a difference a year makes, really. We just saw Aleix Espargaro there on the podium. It was a brilliant victory for him, wasn't it, on the Saturday for Aprilia, as you were talking about how good they are running. He's here this year, but of course with Honda.
Yeah, different exercise for Aleix Espargaro on the Honda. He's been doing quite a bit of testing around here actually with the MotoGP testing Honda, and this is where he first tested that new frame that he's using in the factory team that he used in Balaton, and it was a great weekend for Marini and Joan Mir. So yeah, Aleix Espargaro likes it around here. He was born very, very close to his track and raised close to his track as well. So he's at home very much his own Grand Prix, so it's great to see him having that white card.
Let's have a chat about this man, shall we? Bringing smiles to a lot of fans' faces. His fans' favourite, isn't he, Jack Miller? We had the news that we thought we would get, and we did see him smiling around the paddock in Hungary. And I remember having a conversation with Silver, and I said, I think he might have signed a contract because he'd been very invisible for a few rounds, let's say, which is what riders do. They don't want to see anybody. You're both laughing now, but you keep your heads down, don't you? You go from A to B. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't horse around, and there's no high-fiving journalists. And suddenly Jack was back being Jack, and he's got that ride. And the experience that he has with the V4 makes you think that that's, you know, it's well worthwhile, isn't it, for Yamaha?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's got experience with the KTM, with the Ducati as well, and you know, it's great just to have Jack in the championship as well. He's just such a character, and it was painful for a while to see him, you know, sort of like he was in the purgatory, you know, waiting for that decision. He's getting a little bit frustrated towards the end as well, which it is. It's, you know, you're there and you don't know. Ooh, yeah, that was a bit wide there. So you don't know what's gonna happen, and it kind of like unsettles you a little bit as well. Even on track, you know, it can affect you on track. So you can end up overriding because you want the ride and you want to show that you deserve it, or you can end up, you know, being a bit deflated. It's not easy to manage on the mental side of things as a rider. So yeah, it's great to see Jack, you know, finally confirmed there. We've got a great pairing as well. Him and top right, Rozgatlioglu, you know, in that Pramac team. So yeah, and regarding the development of the V4 with Aprilia, with Yamaha, that's definitely Jack is an asset. You know, he'll bring a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge with him.
We've got Luca Marini also confirmed with Honda. They like his technical foresight in terms of testing the bike and riding the bike, and he will be with them again next year. We know Johan Zarko has also re-signed, but before we talk about those two signatures for Honda, let's hear from Jack and the relief that it's brought him.
Well, Jack, the questions can stop. Congratulations. It's good to hear that you'll be with us for another season. You must feel relieved.
Yeah, it's nice to get that one over the line. Obviously, as you say, the question can stop at least for another 6 months. But no, it's nice relief. Obviously, I really want to be a part of this project, especially going forward with the new bike coming and everything. So no, to stick around a little bit longer. You know, I'm obviously over the moon. I'm loving my time at the team, loving working with Yamaha, and just. Really excited. I know there's a lot of hard work to come, but really excited for that. You know, that kind of really helps motivate me, really keeps me excited, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the future holds. So, and especially with a new project like that, you don't know where the ceiling is. So it'll be a really exciting time.
Yeah, given that you have experience already on a V4 and what's coming for Yamaha, it feels like not only are the results important, but you can have a really important role within Yamaha.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we know that, they know that, and yeah, you know, at the end of the day, results are important, and that's why we keep pushing this current M1 to the maximum every weekend we get on it, just to try and extract the maximum out of it as possible. Some weekends we're closer to the front than others, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. But like I said, moving that ceiling or starting from a fresh platform and trying to elevate the bike, elevate the level, I think that is going to be crucial. But yeah, I think that we can have a good role in that project.
And you also have a new teammate who's new to this paddock as well, but clearly a super talent. How much are you looking forward to having Toprak in the garage?
No, it's going to be really cool having him in the garage. You know, I think we can have a lot of fun. He's a fantastic guy. I know, I think it'll be the first time in my career I'll have somebody in the box that can do a better stoppie than me.
We're going to see competition between the both of you.
I need practice. I need a lot of practice if I want to catch up to him.
No, it's great to hear, Jack, and congratulations once again.
Cheers, hey, thank you.
Well, look at these shots. We'll come back to Jack in just a moment.
Right, so I'm going to take over briefly. I'm just getting my timings up on here so that I can actually see properly, because here's a replay of turn 5. That's for Martin. He seems to be doing quite well after coming back from his injuries. Yellow flag also. Perfect time for me to come back in sectors 3 and 4. Is that Martin? Or is who's that that's gone down? Hold on. That is Jack Miller, who we just had a interview with. Obviously, that interview took place earlier, but Jack Miller's gone down around turn 10. It looks like he's just lost it in, I think it was the opening of turn 10. And also, the sector times, unfortunately, due to the format of the practice sessions, aren't able to be shown during the practice sessions, so I won't be able to show what sector times they are each doing, but I believe that does actually happen for when we reach qualifying sessions tomorrow, as well as the sprint and the race, so sector times won't be able to be shown in the practice sessions, because they never will be, because of the format we have to have for the practice sessions. It's different to the format of the qualifying sessions and the race sessions. Well, races. Right, so 34 minutes left of the session. Technically 35, given there's like 40 seconds left and 34-minute mark of it. And currently on board, or at least looking at, Marquez. Now we're looking at one of his fans. And that is him about to cross the line. I'm not... Oh, by the way, I can't see the sector times either during the practice sessions as well. And I'm going to pass over to TNT yet again.
And in line 4, you know, everything is different. The engine will be sitting differently in the frame. The bike measurements will be, so basically the engine is narrower and longer, so you have to sit it differently in the frame. You have to have different swing arm, it's a different weight distribution. The bike overall can be a bit narrower, which is better, but you have to understand that this is a really sort of difficult and long process to catch up to the other manufacturers that have been working for years and years and years on their V4 project. So for Yamaha, developing that new concept is very difficult. They're playing catch up, and the fact that we can see that bike on track next week will be, I think it's unreal that they've done that development so quick. But yeah, we have to expect, to be a little bit off the pace, but it's great that they are pushing.
So Joshua Birch has just come in, and he has said that I should have always had sector times when doing this, and for some reason, whenever I was doing the commentary, he just decided not to activate it because he didn't know that I was having this problem of not having sector times. So here's the sector times.
Once, and it is such a young project when you think about it's only sort of just over 12 months really that it's been going, so to get to the point they've got to is incredible. LCR, let's have a chat about them. Songcat Chancho back this weekend. It feels very much like Diogo Moreira will be stepping into that seat next year. We're waiting for that confirmation, but we have had confirmation that Gian Zarko will be staying with Lucio's team, and both sides very happy about that situation.
Yeah, and a place that is very well deserved. Gian Zarko, even though the last few races have not quite gone to plan, and the other two HRC rider, Mir and Marini, have performed really well. It's Gian Zarko that has rocked that boat from the very start of the season. He's been incredible for Honda. When he signed for Honda, and I'll be the first one to put my hand up.
Okay, so now that we actually have the sector times, I'm just going to briefly come on and tell you the positioning of people. Most people are coming back into the pit lane now. There's only about 3, 4, okay, maybe actually 6 riders left out on the track at the moment. Mark is currently in the lead with a 139.198, topping the session with Alex in second, which honestly is surprising for a roundabout now, given the fact that Alex has been so far down in the standings recently. And yeah, for some reason, I've never had sector times when I was doing it alone. When it's been in the commentary box, there's always been sector times that we can look at. And I think it was just something because I was specifically on the map book. But no. And it must have been because the old map book, that must be what happened. Though I couldn't see the sector times either. And apparently we were always meant to have them. So that's very confusing to why I've never had them. Have them in every other session except the practice ones for me. Whenever I'm doing this like solo commentary while Joshua's doing something else. So sector times, we all get sector times now, which honestly is a relief because it means that my eyes have to strain a lot less when looking for things. And it's finally getting the notification about Jack Miller crash. That was like 5 minutes ago on here. And everyone seems to be kind of going on more slower laps. I mean, we have, who's that heading out on to the track? Because I can see that now. I believe that is one of the KTMs. At least I believe so. I still cannot see where the KTM is. Because I know it was a KTM. Okay, here's a replay. I believe it's a replay of Acosta. And what does he do? Goes onto the curbs right down at turn 14. Narrowly avoids hitting the green. Which, by the way, round there is so much of the green that you could potentially hit that I think we are generally going to have problems if it's like a wet race tomorrow. Like for the sprint race. which I don't think there is any indication of that happening. I will check next time I throw back over to TNT. But it's going to cause so many problems if it is any like wet session this weekend. So 29 minutes left of the session presently, and I'm going to pass over it in a second, just looking at turn 1, which is the heaviest braking point on the circuit. See, I'm having to look up because of the positioning of everything now, and it's quite heavy braking. And it's actually causing the rear to kind of slip more going into the turn, which, for those that know about the anti-slip machining, I don't know how to actually say the proper thing. For me, it's just called the anti-slip machining. Now, because Joshua's just put that in my head, I don't actually know what it's doing. It's an anti-slip device. But that's not working at all, it seems. Like, if it is activated at that present moment, which it should be. But it's not working at all. In fact, I think it's making them a little bit worse going around the heaviest braking corners. I'm going to pass back over now to TNT.
Screen. It's making my eyes go a bit weird. Let's talk about... Can we talk about Pedro A Costa, actually? Pekco's still down the bottom end of the field at the moment. We'll talk about him as the session goes on and see if he moves up. In a little bit of a purple patch, Pedro A Costa, you know, struggling with inconsistency at the start of the season, getting very frustrated. You can see that on track he wanted more from the bike, wanted more from himself, but the last 3 rounds have been really good for the young Spaniard.
Yeah, and for KTM as a whole, they've definitely, since Renault really stepped up, and yeah, all the riders have stepped up. They're getting the result. They've got more performance. They're qualifying better, and then the race pace is better. Everything is better. Bastianini as well on the KTM has made a massive jump. And Acosta, yeah, it seems like he's had a really frustrating first half of the season. So it's good to see him back at the sharp end in marathon. He was, really strong with his pace and looking good again there. He was actually, he looks like he's losing a lot in the last sector. He didn't quite put it all together, but he's sitting there in 5th. And yeah, looks like another good start of session for the KTM rider.
And when you see Danny Pedrosa in the garage, what does that say to you about KTM in terms of him being here, being present?
Yeah, he's played a major part in the development of that bike. He knows the ins and outs of it. He knows the direction they're going with development. And how good, as a rider, for me personally as a rider, I'd have come in, and to know that you've got Danny there who's poring over the data, and he'll be listening to your comments to your crew chief, and then you've got a guy who knows, and you can go, that's exactly what we talked about, because they'll have tested here, Danny will have tested here on the KTM, and we had that issue, or we went down this road, or just to have someone of that experience who knows the bike inside out is, you can't put a price on that. I mean, it's just they'd say he's been the key to getting this bike in the right direction. He's made such a difference as Danny Pedrosa.
This is Fabio's helmet.
It glows in the dark.
You got like a pearl necklace on there.
Oh yeah. Oh, you'd think that'd be well annoying when you were riding, right?
You also
You'd
feel that could break. Like
that'd be a new excuse, though, for a rider. What happened? You're not going to believe what happened to me. What? I crashed on one of Fabio's pearls when his necklace broke. I've used every other excuse in the book. You'd be like, you what? You'd be like, yeah, you don't see it, a little white pearl just on the apex, just lost the front. That's what. One to remember. Remember that one?
Yeah.
There you go, Sylvan. That's one for you.
He's tagging on to Mars. But yeah, that was. I mean, I was floating quite a lot. I hope that's solid enough. You wouldn't want any pearls on the track.
No. It's a new weapon.
A what?
To deploy the pearls.
Yeah. Yeah, last lap if he's leading, we're going to see him do that. We've had issues with Fabio around this track before with his chest protector. This time he might be messing with his pearl necklace and just give it a flick. Then all the pearls drop behind him. Riding behind goes down. Why not?
Oh, right. Meanwhile...
Good track position, meanwhile.
It would annoy you though, like surely would flap it around on your neck.
Yeah.
Well, would you be able to feel it though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, with the wind, actually it can be really painful if you've got sometimes, like you know, like you do your helmet turn, and if you don't pull the strap, like I've done it a few times, and it's out,
and it flaps.
It starts flapping. It can actually cut you and make you bleed in the. You know, it's quite painful.
Well, we were talking about your jawline last night at dinner, and how it's asymmetric. If you have a look, Neil, on the right-hand side, his jaw is completely different to the left-hand side, and he reckons it's because of the strap of the helmet and years of wearing it.
Yeah.
And it's a callus. What do you think to that?
I think it's more like it's slightly deformed. I can't believe you're blaming the helmet. Just genetics.
It's helmet. It's so many hours of wearing the helmet. All that hard work, long testing days, and so on.
All the hard work is basically
saying.
Changed the shape of his face.
Never heard so much rubbish in my life.
Alex Marquez seems to be back on it straight away. He's had a little bit of a dip since the injury. He seems to have just been slightly off the pace. We almost need him to be very much on the pace so the championship can continue to the flyaways.
Yeah.
But he does look like he's back, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's a track he goes really well on. And if you remember, obviously we finished last season at this track due to the issues in Valencia. And the test after the race, Alex Marquez topped that test.
Okay, I'm going to take back over now. 23 minutes left of the session. Marc Marquez still in the top position for this session with a 1:39.198. Do you know, I kind of wish, and I know that Josh is probably going to hear this later and then say, well, I could do that, but I'm going to say no, because it would be too much work when it's only smaller sessions and I will be so confused. If I could have the iMac with the screen, like the timing screen bigger, just so I don't have to keep zooming myself in to the screen, it'd just be so much easier, but complicated in the long run. So I'm just going to have to keep doing this for now. Even though it's right up here, but they haven't got the timings on right now, so I'm having to zoom in or get closer to the actual screen. Right, so Marc Marquez currently top position. Alex Marquez in second with a 1:39.384. Zarko is in third. Very good for Zarko, especially on the Honda. He's been struggling the past few races I've seen. Usually for bad luck. He hasn't had the best of luck. I can't remember what happened in the last race for him. He either crashed out or he did well, and I can't remember which one it was, because it's either one extreme to the other when it comes to Zarko. He's either doing really well or he's crashed out. Bagnaia is struggling. Where is Bagnaia? Bagnaia is in 21st. Given the fact that his teammate is currently in top position, that is quite a concern for the Ducati, especially given the fact that he's usually does so well. And what is this for Martin here on the screen? It's the replay. Oh, does that a visor strip gets caught on his chest? See, everyone thinks I'm crazy sometimes. They're being so angry about visor strips. I'm less angry about them in MotoGP, because in fairness to them, where they're gonna put the visor strip. In F1, I get very annoyed because they literally have a designated pocket for it, and then they still throw it out the window like it's a banana in Mario Kart. And I don't get why they do it. But they cause such problems because it's literally pieces of plastic that can get caught both on you and in your bike in this series, or car in another. And it's just so frustrating to me. But there's nothing I can do about it. Right, Bezzecchi is in fourth with a 1:39.657, and that's Bagnaia only moving up one position into 20th after that go around the track. That is deeply concerning. Right now he's in his cool down lap, I believe, and he's in sector 2 right now. And he's 7 tenths down. But even those who are in the cool down lap right now in the same sector are doing quicker times than he is. So he's either really desperate to cool down those tyres or heat them up. I can't think what at the minute. My coffee hasn't fully hit. Are you serious? That was his best lap time? That's concerning. That is. Oh, and there he is going off. Oh, so that's why he was going so slow in that sector. He went off the track, round the corner. Is there something wrong with that bike? I feel like it's not perfectly set up for him. And I feel like they should have solved that during the summer break. But no, it just seems to have gotten a lot worse than it was before. So whatever you change, please change it back so then Bagnaia can actually have some sort of chance about winning the races. That does D'Antonio getting dangerously close to the green there. Given the fact that he's done at least a decent lap time for him, he should really stay away from the green. It's a cool down lap, yeah, but still, that would just be really unfortunate. There should be a better way to dispose of the visor strips. Yeah, there really should be. Without those, riders just cannot see after a few laps. Yeah, it's the visor strips. It's frustrating. Part of me thinks I wish there was just like, do you know on cars there's those windscreen wipers? I wish there was something like that, but I also gather there'll be massive safety issues with that, and it would just be terribly inconvenient. But then again, I don't know how they get the visor strips off with their gloves. I don't know how. That in itself is a skill, but I wouldn't be able to do it. But it's just a genuine concern which I don't see being fixed anytime soon. And it's always in the back of my mind during like racing. It's just like, please don't let this cause a problem, like a serious problem, like it actually turned into a banana strip in Mario Kart, and someone either slips in MotoGP or it goes. Well, it has gone into an engine before. I think in F1 it has, which for them it really doesn't make sense why they throw it out. And that is that Alex going and completely missing the corner and having to go and skip it. That was Alex, right? See, I don't get the notifications. For Joshua Birch, because we've been saying you should be getting the notifications. I'm fine not getting the notifications. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not meant to yet, because I don't actually have the screen up with me. Right, so Bezzecchi, currently in 4th, doing decent. Usually he's about in that area. Usually he's a little bit higher, but do you know what? This is only the first session. He's allowed to just be taking it slow. I really hope for Bagnaia's sake as well that that is what he is doing. He's just trying to experience the track in a slow condition, because otherwise I would be greatly concerned. And also I think that was Martin just then trying to do his best turtle impression, which reminds me of the Ninja Turtles. Should I have that watched since I was very young? When did I last watch it? I don't know. Oh, that is really a large amount of wobbling going on for Zarko. Going around this corner at turn at 5. Almost falls off of the bike at the entrance. And you can see how he grips on to the handles a lot more, especially on his right side, because he starts to fall going round turn 5. So that's definitely something to watch, I think. Also, this is moving really close to me for some reason, and I don't know why. That seems to be my catchphrase. I don't know why. Because I don't know a lot of things, because first of all, it's really early in the morning, and for those who drink coffee know that it takes some reason a while for the coffee to hit. Sometimes you feel the coffee really quickly, sometimes it takes hours. At least in my case. Maybe I should be tired. I'm really hyper when I'm tired. I don't know what that's about. That is Quadraro sitting in his pit box, and it's getting a little bit agitated. I think he's agitated about being in 12th position. I feel like he feels he can give more into his timings, but I think, given that there's only like 14 minutes left of the session, 14 and a half if you want to be specific, they're really... Oh, and I'm going to cut myself off here. That is one of the KTMs stopping on the track. Why is it... There's no yellows out because they've somehow managed to get it off the side of the track. And who is that? That's one of the Red Bulls. That is that Bastianini? Is that Bastianini gone off? I think it's... Salvadori's back in! I didn't see that. Yeah, it's Bastianini, thank you. So Bastianini has stopped on the circuit and had to go slightly off. Thankfully not causing a yellow flag. But I generally am very curious to why he suddenly stopped. Also to why this fan just seems to have increased intensity and enough to start blowing this towards me and blowing something off the desk over there. Why? Okay. Because it is always warm in here. Could it be... It must be an engine issue if he stopped on the track. I don't see any other reasoning to why he would have stopped on the track unless he felt like something was wrong internally or maybe like with the tyres, but then he would have just come into the pit lane. So something must have made him stop, and I'm guessing maybe it was part of the engine, or maybe he didn't feel like he could get to the pit lane in time. There's many possibilities and I can't wait to find out which one was right. But Salvadori gets another chance at this weekend. I really hope Salvadori does well this weekend, because last race he was doing really well, but then he crashed out. And that really disappointed me, because he would have got points. And I remember being so disappointed. Was that Germany? I can't remember. It might have been, it was around Germany, I remember that. It was the last race he was in. And I'm going to pass over to TNT for a minute. Well, minute or two.
He'll do next year, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I didn't... You know, like, obviously, as we start next year, Marquez is going to be the first probably to sign. Ducati will get him sort of locked in. And then they'll play a waiting game to see who's the next person, you know, next talented young rider, I'd say. I'd be with obviously current form, but I'd say I'm 90% confident he won't be in the factory Ducati team. That said, someone like the VR46 squad might want him on a Ducati. But I think if you're Pekco, you'd probably look to change manufacturers, because he knows he can't beat Mark.
You got your pride as well, two-time world champion, and you come, like Mark comes in the team and, you know, just literally
beats
you every time. Every time it's a tough one. So yeah, you'd think, you know, to refine his mojo, he might maybe need to change manufacturer. Well, maybe that's the right thing to do.
It surely has to be a page turn. Neil, I'm just going back to your story, really. You know, when your confidence does get shattered, you completely started again by going back to British Superbike.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what you need, a big change. You can't, sometimes when you lose your confidence, it's not like a switch. It just slowly happens, and you lose the field, and then the worst part when you lose your confidence is actually when you stop to believe in yourself, and that's where I feel like we're at that situation now, where Bagnaia is thinking, I can't. It looks at the data what Mark's doing, I can't do that.
And you have to think they're doing absolutely everything in that garage, in that team, to bring his confidence up, to help him. They are doing everything you can possibly imagine. Whatever I ask you, they're doing it for him, because they love him and they want him to be back in form. And he's trying to do everything, and it's just not gelling, and it's just not coming together, is it?
Yeah, maybe he needs to stop looking at data as well. Just ride on feel, try and let it all come back. I mean, it's easy to talk about it, and you know, he's in a hole right now. It's a very difficult situation to be in. When everything goes well as a rider, it's almost like you start doing things and everything feels easy, you know.
Which is where Mark is.
Yeah, you can get to a point where you just win races and you don't really understand why the other guys are going so slow. It's a really weird feel. Yeah. And then on the other hand, you can feel like you're trying 120%, that you're doing everything, you're training right, you're eating right, you're drinking right, you're doing everything right, and nothing is happening on the track, and it's nothing. You feel like helpless. So it's a weird one, and this is why riding fast on motorcycle is also very much a mental exercise. You know, it's about confidence, it's about being, you know, sort of relaxed on the bike, but aggressive and sharp in the same time.
Being at one with everything, which is obviously something Martin had last year. I've asked you this before, we've asked Davide Tardozzi this before, and it wound him up, but I feel like I need to ask you again now. Jorge Martin on the Ducati last year, you could argue that he rode in a similar way to Pekco, and Pekco could look at his data and he could recognise things that he could improve, and we would often see a different Sunday Pekco. We're not seeing that this year. How much, you know, is the problem down to the fact that he perhaps doesn't have that data to look at? Is that an element? Is it not an element?
I think
what do you feel about that?
You know,
I know we're probably past it now.
Past that point now because the confidence has gone. But yeah, early on there was definitely an argument for that. We saw that happen quite a bit last year, and it was talked about from both parties, Martin and Bagnaia. So yeah, without having Martin, and let's say that reference, because of they both rode the bike very, very similar. But yeah, that did feel like really early season. Now the results, where like I say, well, let's have a look at the past results. Well, the last 4 Grand Prix has had a 4th, an 8th and a 9th. For Pecco Bagnaia, who's just has been a machine for the past 4 seasons up to this, is now it's I don't know, like Sylvan said, it's mental. It is mental. Well, but the team around him are very, very experienced. In fact, the Ducati team. I mean, as we know, Davide Tardozzi has been a team manager forever, basically. Obviously, an ex-racer in the 80s, early 90s. He turned manager and has won, I don't know how many world championships, a ridiculous amount. He knows how to get the most out of his riders. He knows when to be hard, he knows when to be soft. They will have tried everything, Susan. They will have gone through the A to Z of psychology from a manager's point of view to the rider. Tardozzi will have been so hard, he'll have been so loving, he'll have been round at his house, he'll have
done everything.
They'll have done everything.
I mean, we see that his wife hasn't been to the last few races. That's obviously a change that's also been made, perhaps so that Pecco can focus solely on what he's doing in the garage. I don't know, but it's noticeable that she's not in the camp because she's normally there. I mean, it could be for a completely different reason, but it's a story. I don't know how this ends, but it's sad to watch.
No, do you know how it can end is Pecco Bagnaia is a champion, and he will dig his way out, whether it's Sylvan sort of explained it, saying he feels like it's not bottomed out yet, but essentially when it does bottom out, he will claw himself out of this hole. He's a champion, and he's not old. He's not like, well, actually he's now 35, he's at the end of his career. I tell you what, he's had a great career, that's him done. There is more to the Pecco Bagnaia story, I believe. I believe so as well.
And usually as well, when that kind of dynamic happens, the bounce back is normally really, really strong, and when things start to recover, you're going to find a more mature, faster Pecco Bagnaia, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Sorry, Sylvan, one thing I will say, the bottoming out, we might be witnessing the bottoming out. Yeah, now he's 22nd in this session with Chantra behind him. You're like, this isn't happening. This is not happening. You know what I mean? Like, surely not. This is not happening. Like, so maybe this is it. This could be the round. This could be the bottom.
At the other end of the table, just to take things up to a positive note, the Trackhouse Aprilias are looking strong in the top 10. The KTMs look like they might have something to take to the Ducatis this weekend. Is it too early to say that, or what do you feel?
No, I think that's fair enough. Well, Aprilia obviously is good there. It looked like his
ride out
device was locked. Yeah, or he didn't brake hard enough to. Oh, he's lost. He lost there a wing.
One of the wings. There's a few of them.
Is it one of the side wings? You know, the one that they've got just next to the leg.
Or is it the one down near the disc?
Is that one from the there? There's that many wings there.
There's that many wings.
You don't know where they come from.
We can officially say it's one.
Looks like one on the back seat. You know, the back seat unit. They normally have 4 wings there, 2 on each side. It looks like it's one of those.
What, you wouldn't want to hit that on the track.
No, and also like carbon fibre that could create puncture really easily. But yeah, the Aprilia, obviously for Trackhouse, that's it's a good track here because it's good for the Aprilia. Raul Fernandez around here, he's really quick. You remember when he crashed leading the sprint? That was one of these like massive highlights.
And also let's mention the Hondas, because Luca Marini has just hopped up to 3rd ahead of Johan Zarko, who is in 4th. And they are, and actually where's Aleix Espargaro, because he was 16th now, he's just dropped down a little bit, but the Honda's looking stronger as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're looking good, looking better and better.
Brad Binder.
Hello, what's going on?
On a Friday.
Check the calendar.
What's happening here?
This is good.
He don't normally turn up till Sunday. What's going on?
He'll have a smile as wide as his helmet.
A sleepy track. I mean, I know it was a few years back, but Renault 2020. Yeah, and the track here actually just very much feels like the old Renault with the old surface. You know, very low grip, long corners, loads of tyre spin, and you know, Brad with his, obviously he's got that different style, but he seems to work on that kind of track. So, yep,
maybe we could have a race on this weekend.
All the KTMs. They're throwing tyres because on the grass there, it looks like they're all going for a new soft front and a new medium rear on the grass anyway. But yeah,
Vinales in 2nd.
Yeah, they're throwing tyres.
Yeah, but still with that shoulder coming back from a shoulder injury.
A new set.
Bless you.
Yeah, Bastianini as well, so they've all gone for it. So they're using a new set they're probably going to use at the start of this afternoon session. And that's allowing them to just make that little step. And yeah, Francesco Bagnaia on the other hand, he's sticking with the same tyres, so he's doing, you know, putting a lot of laps on the tyres, but obviously he's only 2 seconds off the fastest lap there of Marquez, his teammate. So.
The factory Yamaha are struggling. We haven't really mentioned them in this session.
Aleix as well, using a new set. He's looking good, Aleix Espargaro there. So look at that. He's going to be top 3 now. No, he lost quite a bit.
Top 10 though, but this is a good track for Aleix, isn't it? But yeah, just to comment on the Yamahas.
You know, the problem with the Yamaha, Susie, is the fact that now you know the V4's coming. Obviously, to keep pushing to the absolute limit like Quadraro has constantly done, you can't help but feel now in the back of his mind, it's like, it's not worth me risking everything. It's just not. The bike's not competitive. I can't quite.
Right, so I'm going to come back onto the screen now. 2 minutes left of the session. Acosta is now top with a 138.979. Very impressive from Acosta, especially in recent race weekends. He's really been showing the dominance that he can truly show, and I think next year, because let's face it, the championship's already decided in this one. I think next year he might be a contender, like a really good contender. I feel like he's just on the bounce. Maybe in 2 years. Let's get him a win before he starts contending for the championship, maybe. Then again, Aleix a couple of years ago didn't have a win and was already contender. Alright, Marquez has now been bumped down into 2nd. Marquez. And where's Alex gone? Right, so Mark has done a 139.198, and that's Bezzecchi going up into 8th with a 139.80. Wait, 503, sorry. And wait, why is Bezzecchi so far down the order? Zarko goes 2nd now, overtaking Marc Marquez with a 139.074. And really showing, I think that is the last of the improvements, however, for this session. Unless someone really throws it out of the bag and just shocks everyone. Acosta might improve upon himself, I don't know. Does he? I mean, he is like a 10th up on his own time. There's a possibility he might do it. But, right, so, Acosta 1st, Zarko 2nd, Marquez 3rd, then it's Vinales, Alex Marquez, Marini, Binder, Bezzecchi, Aleix Espargaro. Aleix! Speaking of Aleix, he's right here. Right, Bastianini, is not a part of the session anymore, but he is 10th. I'm still wondering what went wrong with him. Jack Miller is in 11th. 12th is Raul Fernandez. Usual placement for Raul, I would say. Olivera is in 13th. Iagura is in 14th. 15th is Aldeguer. Rins is in 16th. 17th is D'Antonio. Really low for the VR46s. In 17th. 18th is Quadraro. Morbidelli is in 19th. Mir is in 20th. Martin is in 21st. Salvadori, woohoo, is in 22nd. Oh, that's a really bad positioning for Prima Parents. Martin's definitely going to be questioning his loyalty to them again. It seems to be continuous. Bagnaia really far down the list in 23rd. I mean, I don't think that him and Ducati are going to be in very good talks for next year. And Chantra, finally back, I see, is right down at the bottom. Honestly, that is valid given the fact that he was injured for a really, really long time. It's going to take him a few races to get back used to the bike. But currently, they are doing practice starts now that the checkered has flown, and Chantra should be used to being there at the bottom of the screen. So I'm not sure. Maybe he'll come back stronger. I generally don't think it is the right bike for Chantra. I mean, it's already really hurt him once. I mean, can we please change him to something else? I reckon Prima Pramac actually might have been better, but honestly, given that they have had problems with their drivers, I don't think they're changing the setup anytime soon. And should I end the session? I'm going to hand over to it.
He has not used, what did he say, a fall up front, and he left, well, so he did use, because he did use a different set, because he's done 19 laps in total.
That's confusing. I don't think that's right.
No, doesn't sound right. No.
Well, he obviously come in at some point during the session, didn't he? But
yeah, did he start with this one?
He's saying there that Mark actually used a new set at the end as well. He was going much slower than his previous lap time, so I'm not too sure about that.
No, me neither.
No.
Great session for Pedro A Costa. We'll just acknowledge that because, as we mentioned earlier, he's flying high at the moment, coming off I think 3 podiums on the bounce, and really found his confidence, some good form, and it would be so great to see.
Yeah, the issue was. Sorry, everyone was a little bit confused at the start of the season with KTM, with everything that was going on, and it did look like, you have to say, all the rumours in the paddock were that Pedro was trying to get out of his contract. He was on a 2-year deal, so he was trying to get out of the 2026 part of it, and I think that obviously didn't help anything in the opening rounds. There was a lot of tension, wasn't there?
Yeah.
As it's turned out, obviously there was no way out of that contract, and it's almost like he's decided to just get his head down and make the most of what he's got. And from that moment on, it's been pretty impressive, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, you see it. We've just seen it, haven't we, in the infamous transfer window, and football players, you know, changing their characters and how the outside affects the inside. It's the same in all sport, isn't it? You try not to let it affect you, but it does have an impact.
It's hard not to. Also, I must say, KTM, they brought that aero update, was it in Austria, and that seemed to help a lot. All the riders said the bike's turning more naturally. We're not having to use as much tyre. We can essentially, the aero helps the bike turn, so you can pick the bike up earlier, which saves the edge of the tyre, which by then, sort of second half of the race, you've got more grip. So that sounded very, very positive.
And they were really keen on trying it on a different layout, because they've obviously done Austria and Balaton with it, the races which are stop and go tracks. And then we come here, Barcelona, total opposite. Long flowing corners, very low grip, so different setup on the bikes as well. I mean, chassis wise, and it looks like it's working. You know, the KTMs are delivering.
Been waiting to see.
Bit of a surprise though to see all those KTMs and Hondas on the front, no? It's quite nice and
it's
refreshing.
great, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's great to see something a bit different. I was hoping that we see Miguel Olivera. Obviously, he's the loser in the contract shuffle, which you have to feel a bit sorry for him, don't you? Really, having been injured this year, and he's had a decent session there today in 13th, just behind Jack. But it'll be sad to see Miguel Olivera not in this paddock, because it really feels like he never quite reached that incredible potential that he's shown.
Absolutely. I mean, being able to win MotoGP races, is it 5 he's won? I think it's 5. And as we know, I've said it so many times, but had a lot of bad luck, genuinely bad luck. Obviously, he'd been injured again this year due to Fermin Aldeguer doing a silly move on him in Argentina right at the beginning of the season. There's talk that there's an offer for him to be, there's been an offer for him to be the Aprilia test rider. Obviously, they've got Lorenzo Savadori, who's been good, but you feel like they need I'm going to have to say, a faster test rider, which Miguel Olivera would be. I think it'd be a very smart signing for Aprilia. I actually think it wouldn't be a bad signing for Miguel. He's getting to the end of it, age-wise, he's getting to the end of his MotoGP, let's say, window. I don't know if there are offers from the World Superbike paddock. You would assume
I think there is, yeah. Well, you would, because he's the only MotoGP rider available now, and obviously he's got credential. You know, he's
absolutely.
got great palmarès, and like you said, Neil, couldn't agree with you more. So unlucky with his injuries.
So he could go to Yamaha and replace Johnny.
Yeah.
He's
but
retired.
There's a place at Yamaha at the moment. There's a place at BMW as well. So we've heard Michael van der Mark on an interview yesterday saying that he was not going to be with BMW in World Superbike next year. So
so there's a seat available there alongside Danilo Petrucci.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends whether he wants to remain in this paddock in some form and maybe get some wildcard rides with
If you are a manufacturer in World Superbike, you would definitely be looking at Miguel Olivera.
He's a great rider.
Yeah, clearly a great rider.
Shame to lose another nationality from the MotoGP, which is obviously a very Spanish and Italian heavy championship. The Portuguese rider also brought a real army of fans with him, didn't he? One of the obviously incredibly popular back home in Portugal.
No, very much so. It is a shame when that happens, and more, you want to cover those bases. You want to have Portuguese riders, Australian, American, British, the last 2 of those, well, the last 3 of those now we don't have in MotoGP, which is a huge shame, and that's a situation, well, quite frankly, that needs to be addressed and looked at. Otherwise, we do end up in a situation where we have an entirety, pretty much, of Spanish and Italian riders.
Yeah, to be fair, Donna is trying to, to grow the talents in all these different countries.
Yeah, from a grassroots level. Yeah,
focusing on the younger series and trying to bring all these different talents from different nationalities, but it's hard to compare. Let's say I think the last sort of 10 years, you got on the Spanish side, you got so many riders, so many guys putting everything together. So the guys that have stepped out of that kind of like shown from this pool of loads and loads of young sort of talent, they are now all in MotoGP, or they're on their way to the top, and those guys are very special. But you need to be, need to have a lot of riders to basically be able to pick the best.
Yeah, and think of the young talent coming through. We've got some good nationalities going to be coming in with, you'd say, the Colombian of David Alonso, and obviously the Brazilian
of Moreira,
Diogo Moreira. So they're 2 obviously exciting prospects. We know looks like Moreira's coming next year, and Zarko's got it spinning. And you would assume David Alonso's on the fast track to get a ride, I'd say, for 2027. Quite messy, isn't it, the starts this time? Everyone's trying to get a clean bit of track. Nothing too spectacular. We've only seen Zarko so far lighted up. We only see 1 or 2 in the very first practice starts. Oh, looks like Mark got it.
Looks like he got a bit of a spin.
A little bit of a wheel spin. That's his girlfriend. Aldeguer's been struggling a little bit with his starts. One of the comments, just adapting, and in his rookie season, it is hard, isn't it, to get confidence on one of these MotoGP bikes with everything going on, all the devices. You've got to lower the front, you've got to lower the rear, you've got to make sure you press the correct start mode.
These two guys have had a struggle, haven't they, in this session, the VR46 Ducatis?
Hey, we finally got a drone shot from the start.
I think they might have. I think the VR46 pairing probably stayed out on the same set of tyres. In fact, you're looking at their lap times. They've set their fastest laps quite early on in the session. So, like I say, it's a bit of a confusing one really to work out who got what after that session. If someone was now to say, right, name your top 5, it'd be pretty tricky, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you need to look at the lap analysis to see who was using what.
Which I know you really enjoy doing.
I love doing that. It's my favourite thing. I keep refreshing, wait for them to post it so I can have a look at it. That and the weather is my two.
You do seem to be slightly obsessed with the weather. What can you give us?
Oh yeah, what is it?
Sun.
Just wall-to-wall sun, is it?
It's going to be hot. Yeah. Well, there's loads of bikes on TNT this weekend, and we've got. Looks like there could be a bit of rain in Donington. Could be a bit of rain in Manicourt as well for World Superbike. Donington is DSB, and then here we've got all the niceness.
We've got the sunshine, have we?
Yeah.
Silver.
Yeah, we have got a triple header actually this weekend of bikes with the French round of World Superbike plus round 8 of the British Superbikes, as Sylvain so rightly said, at Donington Park. And you can obviously keep across all of the action here on TNT and on Discovery Plus. If you're on the go, you can double screen, multi-screen if you want to keep abreast of all of the information, find out what is going on. But here it's Pedro A Costa who is top of the table, smiles all around, and that'll be really great for him to hear the fans. It's a well-attended event here in Barcelona, not too far really from where he's from, down the coast. Obviously spent a bit of time with Gav last year. We had that great documentary, didn't we? Had some insight.
Yeah,
He never mentioned it. Doesn't ever.
Never talks about it.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't talk.
You mean Gav's best mate, Pedro?
Do you know he speaks Spanish? Did you know that?
No.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what though, he is one of the most popular people in the paddock, Gav. Don't know really about Pedro, but no, all joking apart, Pedro, they love him here, don't they, in Spain?
And they do.
The working class hero. He's a bit of a fan's favourite, people's champion, isn't he?
Yeah, I noticed that you see more and more sharks walking around the paddock, which is quite comedic when you see someone just casually walking around in the shark's outfit.
And whereas, let's say, your current world champion, Jorge Martin, is not super popular, is he? Even though, obviously, we got really well with him, he's fantastic with us on the TV side of things, but I don't know, it's like, I don't know, the Spanish fans that don't seem to have adopted him quite like they have this young man.
Yeah, it's difficult really, isn't it? I mean, he's got an incredible brand, Acosta, with this whole shark malarkey, and it's very visible, whereas the Martinator, it's
and quite worked.
And quite caught on, has it?
Also, I guess if you're a Spanish fan, you're spoiled for choice, aren't you? There's that many riders. Obviously, you've got Mark to start with, then his brother Alex, and the list goes on and on and on.
And this is the issue, really, we were talking about earlier with the grid, in that in Spain, you've got...
Right, so that is the end of free practice 1. Acosta is in top position with a 1:38.979. Zarko in second, and then Marquez in third. Thank you for watching. Please go to the other things on the channel today, both here and on JB Motorsports 1. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.